The secret to making 20K in the next 30 days by wholesaling vacant land. Guys, it's Rick Ginn, and in today's video, I'm going to show you the 5 simple strategies you need to employ today so you can earn 20K in the next 30 days by simply wholesaling vacant land. But before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, you hit that subscribe notification button to continue to receive the best information on wholesaling today. So you're probably watching this video because you have an interest in wholesaling, and you've also found out you can wholesale vacant land. And I'm actually here to tell you it's actually easier to wholesale vacant land. It is much more scalable. You can go all over the country. You're never confined by your backyard market, and you actually never physically meet with anyone to do these deals. That's why wholesaling vacant land is actually really ideal, especially for somebody who wants to do this business virtually. So let's go ahead and get started. And step number 1 is you have to start backwards when you wholesale vacant land, somewhat like you do wholesaling single family homes. So what you want to do is find out where the most desire that people are looking to buy vacant land. Now you can start with a basic internet search and look at the US Census. You can look at Zillow. One of my favorite places to start if you have no experience is simply go over to Redfin and click the buy land button. And what that will do is you can pick a state, you can pick an area, and it'll show you how much land is available for sale. And it has a really good visual graphic where it shows you in what part of the state where most of the vacant land is currently on the market. And that's an excellent place to start. The next one is you can go over to ListSource. And I'm like, what the heck is ListSource? ListSource is owned by CoreLogic, and you can open an account for them free. And you can simply go in there and create your own list. You're not going to buy the list. You're using this for data. And all you have to do is pick a state that you have interest in. And from that, you click the next tab, which is going to be property type, and just click vacant land. And under the filters, you want to put the criteria search of last market sale date or last recording date. I prefer last market sale date. And look at the last 90 days if you have a flat market and you want to get the most recent data, or you can do 180 days to see a longer trend. But whichever one you pick, and click purchase list. Now don't worry, you're not going to purchase the list. Once you do that, it's going to give you a big fat number. And don't worry, you're not paying for it. This is free, guys. What you're going to do is click the tab next to it, and it'll say partial suppression. Click that, and then you click the custom tab. Click county. And what this will do is basically give you a pivot table and breakdown where all the properties have been bought in the last 90 days, and it'll tell you how many in each county. But I don't want you to stop there. What you can do is now drop it down the zip code. And now you can get a laser pinpoint focus on where the demand is for the vacant land. And these tools are great to get started out. I love ListSource. Use Redfin. You guys can use listrei.com. I could go on all day. You can use Zillow, but find the demand. That's what I'm getting at. Step number 1, if you don't know where the demand is, you can't supply the product to your end buyers, which are your cash buyers for the vacant land. So go ahead and do step number 1. So what I'm going to do is switch over to the iPad, and I'm going to walk you through the last 4 steps, and it'll tie all 5 steps together. So we already said step 1 was identify demand location. And I gave you the tools in the beginning of this video to do it. So let's move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is you're going to shop. Remember, we're doing this in reverse order. Now we need to find the cash buyers. Why? Because now we identify the area. Now we have to identify how much they're paying for. This is where you're going to get the intel. And the sooner you collect your cash buyers, the faster you are to selling your contracts of this vacant land. You see, if you do this after you have the property, you're under the gun because you only have so much time during your inspection period. So what I want you to do in step 2 is go ahead and find cash buyers. What's the best way to do it? There's multiple ways you can do it. One of them is you can go on social media and hunt for cash buyers in that given market. I like to use Facebook groups. So if I was doing it in Knoxville, Tennessee, I'm going to look for vacant land in Knoxville, and I'm looking for like a group, some sort of keywords for that. And then once you find that group, you will find tons of cash buyers in there. Honestly, it's free. It takes a little bit of work, but you want to get into it, and you can easily get emails, names, and phone numbers from that. And that's 100% free. One of the easiest ways to do it is use listrei.com. That's our account with PropStream. And then by using them, you get a 7-day free trial period. So just check it out. I'm showing you how to make 20K in the next 30 days with no money. So the key is you can do the free services or you can do some paid. With listrei.com, it's included in your account. So if you already have it, it doesn't really cost you anything. And then basically you can pull up the cash buyers for vacant land in that area. So simply go into listrei.com and sort your filters for cash buyers for vacant land. Try to pick in the last 90, if not 180 days. And that should give you a location of where to find them. And then from there, you can get their information. You can do a skip trace. You can use truepeoplesearch.com and call them up because there's not going to be a ton of buyers in it. Remember, you're going to have less of a buyer's pool, but you should have some more inventory to do this than you would your regular single family houses. Remember, once we've done the legwork, we've basically located demand. We're already working on a cash buyers list. And then when you talk to your cash buyers, confirm the areas that they're looking to buy and confirm the price points and the size of the properties. See, because most likely you don't have experience doing this. Having conversations with cash buyers that buy vacant land is going to help you gather a ton of intel to put the best deal together. So now we're moving on to step 3. And this is where you actually take the action to get your deals. So step 3 is going to be finding vacant land owners. Now, we're hoping these turn into sellers, but you have to start out with a basic list so you can at least locate who owns this land. And then your next step is going to be to reach out and contact them and use your marketing medium to see if they have interest in selling your land. So you have 2 options here. You can use the free route, which I'm going to show you right now, or you can use a paid list service, and I'll let you decide which one you do. Remember, if you already have an account, it's really not costing you anything extra, but I'll show you both ways and you can make the decision. So Zillow's obviously a great place to start. That's free. And then also I like to use Redfin. As I talked to you earlier, you can go do a little bit more of a deep dive. Guys, there's so many sites where they basically just focus on selling land. I prefer you contact an owner without having gone through a realtor, since it's much, much more difficult when you get a broker or realtor involved. So remember, your direct contact with the seller will make a tremendous difference, because a lot of time when there's a realtor in there, they're usually charging up to 10% to sell land. And a lot of times there is no room for a profit margin with a realtor involved in vacant land. Not always, but that's usually the case when you start out. Now, as far as the paid list, I'm going to go back to the tried and true listrei.com. Why? Because it works in our company and it works all over the country, and I know it'll work for you. And it's really simple. You just hunt for vacant land owners. You can identify the properties and you can get up to 10,000 leads just by doing this. Now, yes, you get a 7-day free trial period, but if you were to go to ListSource and pull this list, it costs you thousands of dollars. It is a much better bang for your buck. It's the highest and best use of your time. I highly recommend working through them, because at the end of the day, this is going to take time and energy, and you are going to need it. So choose which one you want to do. One's going to be more of a sweat equity hustle. Do the free route. It's going to take a lot more time. The paid one through listrei.com will make you much more efficient. And honestly, it is a heck of a lot cheaper than hiring another employee. The $97 or $99 they charge a month after your 7-day free trial period is well worth it. Now, at this point is you have to identify how you're going to attack this. And the reason, so you have to pick out your marketing method. Now, for the most part, most of you are going to do cold calling. Why? Honestly, it's the most efficient way to do it. You don't have to leave your home or office. You get the phone number. The hardest part is getting the phone number through the skip tracing. You use truepeoplesearch.com. Use that for free. Or you can go over to Batch and you can easily use them to get all your information. Either way, you got to get their phone number and you're going to have to reach out and call them. The second favorite way is really SMS texting. And honestly, it works really well. And the reason why SMS texting works well for vacant land, because let's face it, these sellers are not emotionally charged to sell their property. They don't have an emotional attachment. They don't live there. So they're much more business-like. So I find SMS texting actually works really, really well. And the other thing I love about texting is it's extremely scalable. You can do this as a one-person operator, as a wholesaler, and that's why I recommend it. The third way you could technically do it is direct mail, but honestly, I don't recommend that, especially if you're starting out, because it's going to cost money. If you want to learn more on how to do that, go over to mailingmastery.com. I teach it to you. I'd rather you get a few deals on your belt and then convert to direct mail, because I need you to focus on finding the right motivation and finding the right deals and talking to tons of sellers. So when you do a much more expensive marketing campaign, you are ready to talk to them and you're not wasting time or money. Now, I want you to understand you have one of these three choices. This is the best way to reach out to them. Do not complicate it because most of you are reaching all over the country to do this. So now you have your list. Now you pick your marketing medium. Now we move on to step 4. And step number 4 is just about writing offers. Now, keep in mind, people that own vacant land, they're not emotionally attached to it. They haven't lived in it. They rarely ever see it. And they bought it for some particular purpose, either as an investment or to possibly build a spec home or something down the future. And a lot of times this thing, life happens and stuff changes. Now, here's the rules to writing offers on vacant land. You are still seeking motivation. You're looking for motivated sellers. You are not looking to buy it for the highest price. I know you know that, but I have to remind you. So we have to seek motivation. The best way to seek motivation when you're trying to wholesale vacant land is simply offer a low price from the get-go. Why? Because you want your first offer rejected. So you know they're less emotionally charged in these deals. So make an offer that you expect to get rejected but not hung up on, and you need to find that line. Now, I personally do between 50 and 60%, but honestly, a simple rule is you don't really want to offer over 70% of the value of the land. Why? Because the reality is you don't even know what the value is. The way you're going to get the value is go back in step 2 and talk to your cash buyers. So you have to have a lot of room. You got to understand a lot of the sellers don't even understand what the value of the land is other than what they originally paid for it. So if they paid $3,000 for a piece of land and you're offering them $5,000 and they have no other offers, it might be a great deal for them. So do not spend a ton of time comping raw land because there's not a lot of automated valuations through software to figure out what land's worth. A lot of time you have to look at what we call the TAV, which is the tax assessed value, and that's on the property appraiser site. And then look at what they paid for the property originally. And that's it. And then from all three of these, you have to make a determination to make an offer. Remember, you're looking to buy it less than what a cash buyer is looking to pay you for it. So if you do step 2 correctly, you should have an idea. But understand at this point, you're somewhat guessing. So here's what you have to understand. After you write this offer, you need to write the offer because remember, this isn't like an emotional decision form like it is on single family houses. After you write the offer, expect to be rejected. What? Rick, what are you talking about? Yes, you want to be rejected. You see, so many people teach you in real estate is to try to make that perfect offer so they say yes. I'm here to tell you the opposite. Why? Because if they accept your original offer, it means you paid way too much. And remember, we don't know the exact value of the land, so this is much softer ground on. So you have to have a lot of room to even make this work. So I'm going to use the first offer so I get a no, and then I can seek a counter so I can find out if the seller has motivation to sell me that vacant piece of land. If they're not, no big deal. I either put them follow up or I move on to the next one. Guys, this is a numbers game. You are going to fail on more than you succeed, but those wins are the things that are going to give you that 20K in the next 30 days that pushes you over the top. Why am I doing this? I'm looking for the counter. Because guys, this is where negotiation really starts. It starts at the counter. Expect to be rejected. So you're basically using the go for no method without being hung up on, and you will get hung up on some of them. But honestly, if you're looking to pay top dollar, you're not wholesaling vacant land. You're looking to play realtor, and I don't teach that. And then the final rule of writing the offer is get long inspection periods. Why? Because it takes much longer to sell a piece of vacant land because you're going to have less cash buyers for it. And it's a very specific product. It's not like a single family home where everybody can use it. So what do I recommend? 30 days to 90 days. Remember, they're not staying in the property. And worst case scenario, if you can't find a buyer, you can easily get out of it. And they're not as emotionally charged as when you back out on a single family contract because they're living there and they had a moving truck. So there is a percent, you're going to have a higher failure rate on vacant land, but you can scale it much higher. So the reason you want to do 30, 90 days is because you're brand new to this. You're doing this with no money and you need to have time to find a buyer. It can take time. And if somebody says, no, I'm only doing a 2-week inspection, it's going to be a struggle to find a buyer in 2 weeks, especially if you haven't had the experience to do it, especially if you haven't already started step number 2, which you should have started before you got to this point. So writing the offer is real simple. 70%, that's kind of high as I go. Unless I already have a cash buyer, I know we'll pay more for it. I'm going to make an offer that gets rejected so I can seek out the motivation And then I'm going to look for a 30 to 90 day inspection period, so I have ample amount of time to sell this to my cash buyer. And step number 5, if you did step number 2 right, and you've already been working on your cash buyers, this should be easy. Now you just have to engage your list, and then you got to find the right buyer for it. And by now, you should already know what the buyer is going to pay for it. You know it's the perfect property for them. It's that type of vacant land. It's the right size, the right area. And now you're simply just going to do an assignment of contract, just like you would do a single family house. The contract's a little bit different. Go over to freewholesaling.com. We have it all in there for you. Assignment of contract, and that's it. Now, I want you to use your title company. Try not to use theirs. And remember, you really want to work with cash buyers that are buying it directly. If you work with a developer, they're not a big fan of assignment of contract. They do it on purpose to frustrate you and to option you. If you're just starting out, I would stay away from developers, especially big ones, because they are just going to make you obligate, and then they can get out of the contract anytime. So guys, go through these steps. Steps 1 through 5 will well get you on the way to make your first 20K in the next 30 days if you take these steps. Now, once you find where you're going to do your land, it's up to you to take the massive amount of action, and you're going to have to contact, I would reach out to thousands of buyers, because the more you talk to, the higher the percentage of you getting a great deal. But so many people just talk to 10 or 20 people and understand why they can't make this work. I know you're different. You have to really step up and engage as many vacant land sellers as humanly possible, because in the beginning, you don't have the experience. How you overcome it is with quantity and a great attitude, and just have fun, because you are well on your process to becoming a wholesaler. And guys, I love the strategy of wholesaling vacant land. Let me know in the comments, are you using this strategy so you can utilize not only wholesaling single family homes, but using vacant lands as well? And guys, if you got value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, you hit that subscribe notification button, so you can continue to receive videos just like this and become an amazing wholesaler. Guys, this is Rick, and I'll see you in the next video.